Okay, so welcome to another week of English learning. So we're gonna keep learning English and doing lots of fun activities with each other and always having new students. So today we have a new student, Ronan. Ronan, welcome to our group. So Ronan, you're from Brazil, you told me. Would you like to tell us to the class something a little bit about yourself? Maybe, what are your hobbies? How long have you been in Australia? What are your plans? What do you think of Adelaide? And anything that you want to share with us to the class? Good night. What did you say? Good night. Good night. No, we don't say good night until good night is like, good night, I'm going to sleep. No. So we say, maybe you mean good evening. Good evening. So, hi, everyone. Good evening. Yeah, no, good night is like, bye, adios, going to sleep, good night. So, good evening.
I arrived 1 month ago.
Yeah, good. So, I arrived 1 month ago to Adelaide.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was difficult to cross the streets.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's all curious for me.
Yeah.
I went from little city,
Yeah.
city,
Yeah.
and
Where? In the north, east, south, west of Brazil? Okay. Let's have a look.
I'll say
How do I spell it? M-E-M-I?
L-A
A?
L-I-N
N?
A
Yep.
S space
Yep.
Gerais, state of Minas Gerais.
So this is where you are from. Oh, wow. It's very beautiful. It's like in the mountains, the waterfalls. It's very new. It looks like Europe.
In Congonhas, the name of my city.
Which country? Brazil. Yeah, this. Yeah, that's what I said, like Europe. Yeah, it looks like Europe. Yeah, amazing. Like Switzerland or it's the capital. Sorry, not the capital. It's the
capital of Minas Gerais is Belo Horizonte.
okay. Yes.
I was born in Belo Horizonte, but I live in Congonhas.
Okay.
It's a historical city.
Wow. Do you see this bird much?
No.
No? Not everywhere, no. Many churches? Wow. And waterfalls. Oh, what a beautiful city. Has anyone been there? Ojalon or David? Conrado? Have you come? Oh, this is same your city. Ah, this is a state. Ah, I see. This is a state. Ah, yes. So very interesting. So here we are in Brazil. It's a state called Minas Gerais. Yes. So Conrado, which city? And which city? Ah, different city. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
The Black Gold City, Ouro Preto, as the capital of Brazil before Brasilia.
Ah, this used to be the first capital city of all of Brazil before. Oh, interesting. Yeah, because what's the capital city of Brazil now?
Brasilia.
Oh, Brasilia, that's right. Not San Paulo or Brasilia.
Brasilia.
Brasilia is the capital, yes. So amazing. Why the history changed? Do you know? Why? So why before the capital city was in Minas Gerais? Yeah.
Remove the Minas Gerais
Yeah. Yeah. So the capital city in a map, let's have a look at the map. Okay, very close, because Minas Gerais, I think, is this one, or yeah, very close. Yeah. Yeah, Brasilia. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay, interesting. So Minas Gerais used to have the capital city of Brazil before it's now Brasilia, the capital. Interesting information. Thank you for sharing.
The Ouro Preto city gives the gold for the throne.
Yes.
From colonization.
Yes, the gold.
Ouro Preto go to Europe.
Europe, to make the crowns. Oh, wow. So they used to dig the gold from Minas Gerais. They find the gold, they send it to Europe, and they make the crowns for the kings and queens and all that. Wow, interesting history information. Beautiful. State from the city. Yes, where they had the gold. Yes, that's what was the name of that city? How do I spell that? Right. So O, maybe this one.
Yes.
This means gold. What does preto mean? Black gold. Okay. So the name black gold. Interesting. I understand now. Wow, what a beautiful history information to. There we go. How interesting was that, Wilda? And Jimin, because we're not Brazilians. Yes. This is the name that used to be the capital city of all of Brazil. It's still the city in Minas Gerais. It's called Ouro Preto, which means black gold. Interesting name for a city. And this is what the city looks like now. Wow. Oh, it looks amazing, like Europe. And always warm weather. Oh, very cold. Yeah, it's high up. Look at the churches or the cathedral. I don't know, but amazing history. So thank you for sharing that, and welcome Ronan. So everyone, we've got Ronan with us from Brazil, from the Black. And this is your city where you are from. You said
My city is Congonhas.
different. Yeah. Okay, that's where you were born. Yeah. Okay, thank you for sharing that. So what we do is we're going to keep continuing. We're in Unit 10 this week, Unit 10. So Unit 10 is learning. So all this week, this unit, we're going to be talking about learning. We can see from this image the caption. This is called the caption. So you have a picture and then you have a caption. It says, walking into a new building in Yangzhou, China. Yangzhou, China. A new building. Okay, what do we think this building is? What does it look like? A library, yeah. So it looks like a library. Amazing, like with books up in until the ceilings and under the ground. It's very interesting. Let's listen now to a travel podcast. So a travel podcast is when it's an audio. A podcast means an audio, and a travel podcast means somebody is recording their trip on an audio. So you can hear about their experience, what they think, what they experience. So we're going to listen to a travel audio and answer these two questions. Why is Zhengzhou famous? So why is this city famous? And what types of books can you find in the place in this photo? What types? Okay, so let's have a listen.
Track 91, Unit 10 Opener. The city of Yangzhou is famous in history as a city of learning and culture. Some of China's most famous artists and writers came from here. Now the city also has the most modern bookshop in the world. When you enter, you feel like you are in a river of books. They are on the walls and above you and below you. As you walk towards the center, there are separate rooms with books on every subject, from geography to history, maths to chemistry, biology to children's literature.
Okay, one more time.
Track 91, Unit 10 Opener. The city of Yangzhou is famous in history as a city of learning and culture. Some of China's most famous artists and writers came from here. Now the city also has the most modern bookshop in the world. When you enter, you feel like you are in a river of books. They are on the walls and above you and below you. As you walk towards the center, there are separate rooms with books on every subject, from geography to history, maths to chemistry, biology to children's literature.
So what is Yangzhou famous? Why? Sorry, why is it famous? Yeah, it's a learning of culture. Yeah, it has a modern bookshop. The most modern, exactly, the most modern. So we're comparing in the whole world, the most modern bookshop. Yep. And what type of books can you find in this place? Biology, chemistry, everything. Maths, geography, history, so all types of subjects, children's literature, anything really. Okay, let's match from 1 to 8 to A to H. So you've got these subjects. So this is things that we learn. We learn history, we learn subjects are things that we learn about. And we have to match to what they mean. So if I say history, the past, yep, so 1C. So let's take some notes. 1C is the past. So 1C, yep. And if I said physics, what is physics? Yep, heat, light, and energy. I really enjoy this subject, but I don't know much about it. I'd like to study more this subject. Does anyone enjoy physics or learn about it all the time? A little bit, maybe? Okay, so physics, so 2B. Sorry, 2A, heat, light, and energy. Literature. Yes, literature, not E, chemicals. H. H. So 3H. That's what literature is. And geography. What is geography? The study of? Yes. Geography is the study of the places in the world. How about biology? Yes. D, living things. No, chemicals would be more like chemistry, living things. Biology is the study of living things. So D, 5D. Mathematics. G, numbers. And chemistry, chemicals. Yes. And the last one, IT or information technology is computers, F. So 8F. Okay, good. So we have these subjects. We've all studied some of, at least majority of them. I haven't done IT, but history, physics, literature, geography, biology, chem. Yeah. Which subjects do you enjoy? Did you enjoy? So past, did. When you were in school, who enjoyed something so much? I enjoyed biology a lot when I was in school. Not now, but when I was in high school and primary school, biology was my favorite. It's not now, because English teaching is my favorite, languages is my favorite, but I used to love biology. How about you? What did you used to? History? Yeah, world history, or did you have a country or place? Just general history? Yep. Yes, computer science. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Computer science always is very interesting to me. Computer science. And do you work now in computer science or? Yeah. But are you still interested in it now? Yeah. Ah, yes. Business admin. Yeah. That's very good. You can find job very, very good with that. Not really. Yeah, it needs good English. That's true. Yeah. How about now? What subjects are most interesting to you? So for me, mine is languages, religion, history. How about you? What's your favorite subject now? What do you find yourself always reading or listening to or maths? Really? So wow, good, because that's not my strongest. I always with numbers for your profession. Good. Yes. Yep. Yep. Any? Biology now. Yes. Yep. Yes. Yes. Very good. I think that's a lot of interest. Yeah, today for our health, yeah. Okay, good. So let's go to the next page. We have a reading. So what have we learnt? What have we learnt? Let's have a look. We've got 3 images, A, B, and C. What is happening in each one? So A, we understand it's in space. Space, yeah. We can see satellite. That's a satellite. Clouds, the atmosphere, space. So maybe it's got something to do with astronomy, physics, yeah. B, what could B be about? Technology. Technology. It's a car, yeah. Yes. Self-drive. Yes. Self-drive. Like it can drive by itself. Yeah. Also, it looks like we can see a reflection. Like, yeah, it's transparent or something. And yes, already. Yeah. So it used to be they're gonna make it electric, and now drive by itself. There's always something changing with cars. Self-driving. Yeah, exactly. Tesla. A lot? Yeah. Yes, yeah, without ignition. Have you noticed a lot of Tesla cars? I'm starting to notice them in Adelaide a lot more. Yeah. I noticed from many years ago, but now more and more. Yeah, yeah. C. C. I don't know what it looks like. What is it? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Maybe. Yep. Something to do with well, there's a human in there and they're doing something. So robotic, we don't know. Let's read and find out. So we've got 3 pictures, 3 images, A, B, and C. Let's read. So you can read after me to practice pronunciation and everything. Okay, so what have we learned? And what is still to learn? In recent centuries, scientists have learnt a lot. They've learnt how to send people into space. And they've discovered new medicines. More recently, they've invented the internet and they've designed robots to do routine jobs. Routine. However, there are still some things which scientists haven't been able to do. For example, some scientists have tried to make objects invisible, but it hasn't worked very well. The car in the photograph has cameras on one side and it shows the images on the other side. But as you can see, the wheels aren't visible. Other scientists are trying to solve the problem of transport on our busy roads. They've made self-driving cars, but so far they haven't been able to move a human from one place to another without transport. This is called teleporting. And scientists don't understand this difficult area of science yet. Okay, so paragraph 1. So we see we have a title, and then there's 1 paragraph, 2 paragraph, 3, the 3rd paragraph. So the first one, which image does it connect to? Space. So we can say 1A. How about number 2? Invisible. So I think the car. So 2B. And 3 is about image C, being able to teleport. So that's there's a good movie with Bruce Willis about that. I forget the name. Has anyone seen it? It's not very popular. It's an old film. I think it's called AI. No. What's the film called?
I know.
What is it? Yes. What's the name of the movie? Ah, you've got the Korean name, yeah. I can't remember. It's not, like I said, it's not a very popular one of his, but there's many movies about teleporting. Yeah. How do you spell it? G-R-A? Yeah. G-R double S? Yeah. Grass? No. Okay, so I'm not sure, but there's a very good film next time when you mean the switchgrass? No, not this one. Okay, so it doesn't matter, but there's, yes, lots of films about this teleporting idea. And it's never worked. We say here, scientists don't understand this difficult area of science. They've never been able to make it work, but they're trying, always trying. So let's put a tick or an X if the information is true, or if the information is in the article, or X if it's not. So scientists have learnt to do many things. Do you agree or disagree? Does the article show us that scientists have learnt to do many things? Yeah, we could say yeah. Some people have robots in their homes. No, I don't think the article, I don't think we read that anywhere here. How about scientists don't know everything? Yeah, yeah. They've said sometimes, yeah. They've said the last sentence, they don't understand. Okay, how about the invisible car isn't completely visible?
Yeah.
True. Yep, so tick. Self-driving cars work very well. Well, it says here they've made self-driving cars. So it must work. Yeah, very well. Hey, how are you, Alexandria? Do you want to do your test, Alexandria? You want to do your test? Yes, you remember? So I thought maybe better do it now and then you can, yeah. Okay, that's your.
Oh, okay.
It's up to you. If it's not too noisy, stay here. If it's not distracting, or next one, up to you, wherever you want. And then extra materials. Okay, how about scientists have tried different solutions to transport problems? Yeah, yeah, they've told us have tried different solutions, yeah, to transport problems, yeah. So all of it is ticked except for number 2. I put an X because it didn't show us that some people have robots in the home. It didn't tell us anywhere. Okay, let's discuss these questions. We're just going to do them together because then we want to go to the next page. So in the future, do you think we are going to use robots for housework? I think so. I mean, they already did the floor one. What's it called? My mum bought it, and then now she doesn't use it because it's not 100%. What's it called? The robotic vacuum cleaner, but it's a little it by itself. This one, yeah. I forgot what they call it. Yeah. Do many people use it? Do you see many people in your yeah? Yeah. Robovac. I mean, there's different ones, but that's probably yeah. And now, yes, really, some people, yeah. Roomba. This was very popular when it first came out. Roomba. I remember now. Yes, they called it Roomba. It was they put the advertisement, and many people they bought it, but my mum, she doesn't use it anymore, so I don't know why. And it's not cheap. I mean, it's Roomba. Okay. Yeah, but by itself, you just press the button and it does it by itself. So do we think that robots will be used for housework? Yeah. Do we think that they will make objects invisible? Oh, yeah. Okay. I think that's a hard one. I'm not sure. I don't know. Invisible. If it's possible. Then is it ready? Maybe? Yeah. Even now? Ah, what is it that they, what is it? Yeah. In Switzerland? Yep. What is it? Invisible what? So in Switzerland, newspaper. Ah, you see it in the newspaper? Ah, let's have a look. Maybe, but what was it? Do you remember invisible object? That's interesting. Do you know what it was? That's invisible? Invisible car key. Yeah. Okay, so in Switzerland, they've already started to make things invisible. So maybe yes, possible in the future. How about the use of self-driving cars? Yes, I think this will be, I'm surprised we don't have it now. Yeah, soon. Why not now? I'm very surprised. Already we can reverse parallel park. You just, I don't know, you press the button and somehow it just reverse parallel by itself. What about teleport humans? That means you can stay here, but your body or your mind can be in another place.
Possible.
This is one impossible. Yes. Maybe the most impossible. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, exactly. You're right. Me too. Yeah. Yeah, good example. You said when I was a child, this idea was always in the movies, but never I see it in real life. So same, teleporting humans. I think we know the movie Back to the Future. I saw this. Yeah, the idea is always there. And this is the biggest movie about transporting. And we haven't seen the idea. They have an idea, but it just maybe we need more time with technology. Time machine.
It's more. The guys go to a
Tunnel. Yes. 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 Yeah, I know movies like that. Yeah, the idea is very old. I know, you're right. They walk into something and then then another world. Very strange. Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the next page. We're going to be looking at vocab about learning. So we have these words, they're called synonym and antonyms. That means words that are spelt the same, but words that sound the same, but they have, synonym is a word that they're different, but they mean the same thing. They're written different words, but they mean the same things. And the antonym, they have the opposite meaning. So the first one, similar meaning, and then opposite. So let's look at these verbs, these action words, and choose which one is correct, the first one or the second. So if I said, can you something me how to speak English? Which one do I say? Can you? Yeah. Can you teach me how to speak Spanish? Yeah. Because we teach someone, not we learn someone. We learn, but we teach someone else. They will learn, but we teach them. So yeah, so the first one is teach. How about everyone in the class? Yes. Pass. It says because their English is very good. If it was fail, it would say because their English is very bad. So they'd pass. It's a positive. So these have different meaning. Pass and fail have opposite meanings. They're antonyms. If I said I can't go out tonight, I need to, study. I need to practice for a history exam tomorrow. Very similar meaning, but we need study. We need to study for it. Can you forget or remember the past tense of the verb go? Remember. So these words have different meanings. We need the word remember here. Can you remember? And the next one, my teacher explained it, but I still don't understand. Yeah. Understand. And Hans Lippershey invented the first telescope. Yes, he invented. Discovered is more like you found something. You know, you discover the gold in the ground. You find it. It's already there. But invented means you create it because it doesn't exist. So you create it. Okay, let's get into talking about another grammar tense. So our verbs, our action words. So if you remember, we've talked about the present continuous, the present simple. Now we're looking at the present perfect. So it looks like this. So we have the past when we want to give people information about the past. And then we have now, when we talk to someone and say something now, like the present continuous, I am teaching, I am working, I live in Adelaide. And then we have the future. You know, tomorrow I will work, next week I will travel. So the present perfect is something that happened in the past, an action. It started in the past, not now. Something happened, like you booked your ticket to Australia. So you did this action in the past, but it's not completed and finished. It's still happening. Do you see how I made the color all the way to now? So we're here, the perfect. It's not the continuous with the ing. I am working, I'm studying. It's not the past simple with the ed. And it's not the present simple when we talk about our routines. Remember, I work, I live in the city, I enjoy something every day, I drink coffee every day, whatever. It's this one. We need to add have or has, depending on the subject. And then we add the ed to the action word. So to make this sentence, we need the subject plus have or has. So it's I have, you have, he has, she has, it has, we have, and they have, and then whatever the action is, worked, lived, whatever. So an example is, I have studied Spanish in my life this week, because it's still continuing. I have studied Spanish. Be careful when there's irregular verbs. So went, we don't say I have goed. We say I have been somewhere. I have been to Paris. I have been to Italy. Forgotten for the word forget. Done for do. So I have done my homework. And have, had. I have had. You can say that. She has had. So just be careful. Irregular, they break the rules. They do not have the ed, but usually we put an ed. And remember, if the verb ends in a y, we add ied, like this example. So if you look at this example, I've learned the vocabulary for the test. It means I've learned it, and up until now, maybe I just finished this action. He's invented a new robot. So it's not he invented a new robot and it's been finished and completed. He's still working on it. He's invented a new robot and it's going well. He's still working on it. So he has invented. We've discovered a new type of medicine. So they found a new type of medicine. They're discovering it, but they're still working on it. It's not finished, complete action. I haven't done my homework. So to make a negative, we add not. I haven't. He hasn't passed the exam. Negative. They haven't understood the words. So present perfect. That's the rule. That's what we're looking at. So not the simple, not the continuous, present perfect. So let's look at some sentences, some understanding about this grammar, and then we'll look at some sentences. So are the sentences talking about an action in the past or the present? Well, it's about a past action. It's just not completed, finished. It's still continuing. So it's an action really in the past, you could say. But the reason it's called present perfect is because it still continues to now. But the action started in the past. It's a past action and it's still continuing to now. So past, number one. Do we know exactly when the action happened? If I said I have lived in Australia, do I know when it started? Not really, no. Unless I want to say for how long, and I can say 4, 5 years. So if I said to you, I have lived in Australia for 5 years, then you can do the maths. 2023 minus 5 is builder, because you're good at maths. What's 2023 minus 5? Sorry? No, what's the number? So 2023, so 2023 minus 5. What's the answer? No? 2018? Okay, 2018. So we can figure out how. So, but really, no, we do not know exactly when the action happened. If I just said, I have lived in Australia for 5 years, not really. Unless I say 4, then yeah. But if I said he hasn't passed the exam, no, I don't know when the action started. He's invented a new robot? No, I don't know when the action started. So no. Is the present perfect the main verb in the past? So in the present perfect, the main verb is the past. What is the auxiliary verb? So you remember the auxiliary verb is not the main verb, it is the helper verb. So if I said I haven't done, done is the main verb, to do. I haven't done. Which one is the auxiliary? Have. Or this one, I've learnt a new language. Have is the auxiliary, the helper verb, and learnt is the new language. So I have learnt a new language. If I look at this sentence, the subject is I. Have is the auxiliary. Learnt is the main action. Do you know when I did this action? If I said to you, I have learnt a new language. The main action is I've learnt something. And what did I learn? A new language. But when? Do you know when I learnt it? No, it doesn't really say. So the answers are the sentences talking about an action in the past or the present? Past, because it started in the past. It's still continuing now, but it started in the past. Do we know exactly when the action happened? No. If I said to you, I have learned a new language, do you know when I started it? Yesterday, last night? No. And what is the auxiliary verb? It's the have or has for he, she, it. So that's your auxiliary. That's the main action. Okay, let's put these words. So have, has, we know has is for he, she, it. Have is for I have, you have, they have, we have. Haven't is the negative. Hasn't is the negative. Has is for he, she, it. Sorry, did I mix that up? Has is for he, she, it. Have is for I have, you have, we have, they have, and again, have again. So the mobile phone, if it's about something that's not alive, it's it. The book, it. The phone, it. The table, it. So the mobile phone, it has. Yeah, we don't need a negative. It has changed our life forever. There's no negative. It's a true fact, information. So has, because it comes from the mobile phone, it has. So has, the auxiliary, changed is the main action, the main verb. So, question 7. So has, the next one. Do you want to read the sentence? Number 2, yes, hasn't. It hasn't become a normal part of our everyday life. I think it has. Why negative? Do you think it hasn't become a normal part of our life? The phone, the mobile phone? It has. Yeah, it's a positive. Yes. Yes. So it's very easy to be, yeah. No. Yeah, it's a positive. It has changed. We don't need a negative. Yeah.
I understand.
Cool. Okay, so has and has. Next sentence. In fact, most people have forgotten what life was like before it. Yeah. You probably, now I think negative, you probably haven't. So it's you. So it must be because you have. So you probably haven't called from a public phone box in years. Has anyone used one or ever? What did you say? Oh, you did? Yeah, yeah. It's actually I like them. I like to still see the public phone. I like it. I've never used one, but I like to still see them around because maybe yes, you have to put a coin. Yeah, because sometimes maybe your phone dies, the battery dies, and you need to make a phone call. You know, if you're out. Yes, yeah, yeah, yes. Using the, yeah. Oh, believe me, my time too. I was 15 when everybody started to have a phone. So I remember when I was 10, 11, 12, but not much I'd use the public phone. But I remember when before mobile phone. But when I was 15, it became popular to have a mobile phone. It was from before the mobile phone, the 70s or 80s maybe. But wow, you remember no mobile phone at all. Amazing. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes, I like him. Yeah, yeah. He's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Really? Yeah. Let's look. Ayrton Senna with the first one, Ayrton Senna. Amazing. This is the news that you would have seen. Okay, so we can't find that picture, but interesting that's okay. So haven't. Of course, if you are aged under 25 years, life hasn't. Hasn't. Because yeah, because life hasn't. It hasn't changed at all. Phones have, because phones, it's plural. So phones have always, sorry, phones have always been mobile. Mobile here is not the mobile phone, the noun. Mobile as in like you can move it around. Okay, interesting. So has for number 1, has for number 2, have number 3, number 4, haven't, 5, hasn't, and 6, have. So we need to be clear with our pronunciation because it's very similar, maybe the sound and the negative. So haven't, has, make sure that's a Z, hasn't, haven't. And the same here, has, my friend has a new mobile phone. I have So we've got to make sure that S's, so that we can hear the difference, so no one's confused. Which one are you saying? Yeah. From here? Make it bigger? Which side? This one or this one? Yes, the writing, yes. Much better? Good. Good. Perfect. Okay, so let's do number 9, and then we'll go on to number 8, sorry, and then we'll go on to a break. So perfect. I'll give you a minute just to add. So you got the action, the main verb, pass, study, go. Remember, there's a negative here. So fill in these sentences, and I'll give you 1 minute, and then we'll come back and check them. Okay, let's have a look. So number 1, David. Past. Yeah. Exactly. I passed all my exams. I'm so happy. So we add an ed to the main verb, and we have to put the helper verb, the auxiliary verb, have or has. We know because the subject is I, so it must be I have passed. So I should write have. Good. Number 2, Jimin. Yeah, so it sounds like it's a positive, not a negative. So he has studied. So if the action ends in a Y, we need to add IED. So he has studied mathematics at university and he plans to teach it. 3, Conrado. Yes. Yes, so go is not G-O-E-D, it's an irregular, it breaks the rule. It's gone. So it's only this word, we use it with the present perfect. Because we know in the continuous, it's going. We know in the simple, the present simple is just go. We know in the past simple, it's went, but in the present perfect, it's gone. So have gone. Because it's plural, they, the teachers, that's the subject, they have gone. Number 4, Daniel. Understood. So it's irregular, understood. Yeah, it breaks the rule. So it's not ed, it's understood. So we haven't understood anything. Can you explain it again in the next lesson? Wilda, BMW. Yeah. Designed. They're going to sell it next year. Yeah. 6, Ronan. He. Yeah. What's the main action? He hasn't. You got to have a main action. Done. It's irregular. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. 7, Ojalon. Our address. Yes. So it's irregular, forgotten. So if it's in the continuous, that would be forgetting. If it's in the simple part of the past simple, it's forgot. But in the present, perfect, it's have forgotten, or it's forgotten. Depends on the subject. And the last one, ate. Jimin, you can say. Yeah, is he on holiday? Yep, so I haven't seen. So see is irregular and it must be seen. Very good. Okay, so that's the present perfect. It's an action which started in the past, but it's still happening. It's probably, or it just finished. I'll quickly just go through some examples. So I have passed my exam. Tim has studied. All the teachers have gone. I think that's our examples from here. I've got some new ones for you. Have you ever traveled around Australia? Have you ever drunk beer? So it's a question. These are questions which we will talk about in the next part. But I can make it a sentence. I have drunk beer before. I have worked in another country. I have met a famous person. I have failed a test before. So you can see that these are all actions which happened in the past. Maybe they just finished or it's still continuing. We don't know. So sorry, don't look at these ones because these are question ones, which we'll do next when we come back. So we're going to look at the present perfect questions and how to respond, short answers when we come back. But yes, that's what we did. So present perfect, an action started in the past and is still continuing or just recently finished. Okay, so let's have a break. And when we come back, we'll go through more of this tense, this time that we're talking about. We're giving someone information and we need to use the correct time, tense, and verb, subject, and if it's a negative and if it's a question. Okay, so we come back at in 30 minutes, just before 7:30. And I'm going to continue with that. Okay, so let's continue where, as I was saying, we are looking at the present perfect. But now, we know how to make a sentence. We know how to give people information. We know how to make the negative, but how do we make a question and how do we answer the question? So I just said before, you start with the verb. So we know if it's if it's the continuous, the simple, the perfect, you need to start with the verb or with the 6 W's. Remember what, when, why, where, who, or the how. That's how we make questions. So now we have a question with the present perfect. So we have to switch the subject and the verb. So it's not you have forgotten your book. I'm telling someone you have forgotten your book. But now it's have you forgotten your book? And the answer, yes, I have. No, I haven't. Has she practiced the piano today? Yes, she has. No, she hasn't. Because we know for he, she, it's has. And then we have this way of asking a question. Have you ever? It means in your whole experience of life, have you ever done something? It's got to be something that's like an experience. Have you ever traveled to Europe? Have you ever danced in public? I don't know. Have you ever learnt another language? So we're asking about someone's experience and we push that word ever. Have you ever done something? Now, when we respond to this one, we need to use never in the negative. So have you ever studied French? No, I've never studied French. So only when the question has ever, you answer with never. Is that confusing? A little. So just remember that if the question is, have you ever, whatever action, Have you ever skydived? Have you ever played soccer? Have you ever drank wine? Have you ever done something? Then you respond, no, I've never. Only if it's the negative. In the positive, you say, yes, I have. You know? Yeah, keep it because you need to swap to mark. Yes. When Daniel comes back. So it looks like this. Let's have a look at some examples. Have you ever traveled around Australia? I'll just go back a bit. To ask a question, we start with the verb. Depends who the subject is. If I'm talking about me, then I say, you. Have you worked in hospitality before? Have you worked in whatever? If it's they, have they lived in Brazil before? Whatever. Have we seen this film before? So we use have if it's I, you, we, and they, and has for he, she, it. Has she learnt a language before? Has he spoken to his mother? Has he studied Portuguese? Whatever. But ever, we can see now we're adding ever is when we're talking about a life experience. Have you ever done this action? Remember, this is the main action. So evers just mean in your whole life. Have you ever done this? And then we answer with never for the negative only. No, I've never. So examples, have you ever traveled around Australia? Have you ever studied Japanese? Have you ever drunk beer? Have you ever worked in another country? Have you ever met a famous person? Have you ever failed a test? Have you ever eaten kangaroo meat? Have you ever bought a car? Have you ever written a book? No, I've never. If it's negative. Or if it's positive, yes, I have. Have you ever traveled to another Latin American country? Have you ever driven in South Australia? Have you ever gone to Europe? Have you ever forgotten something on the bus? Have you ever swam in the sea? Have you ever worked really late? Have you ever been in a really bad car accident? So can you see how we're asking about an experience for someone? Remember, you can change the subject. Have we, if you're asking someone about you and them. Has she? Has he? Yes, have, yes, or has, depends on the subject. So, have you ever studied French? No, I've never studied French. So let's practice it. So don't worry if it's, if you're still trying to understand it, we'll practice it. We're gonna listen to a conversation and add what you hear. Remember, if it's the start of a sentence, to put a capital, and be careful. If it's a question, I can already look at this one, then I know it starts with the verb. It must be have or has. Another question here. So I know it's have, you, that must be the action, the main action. Or it must be the ever. Because, sorry, that's the main action. Okay, let's listen and fill that in. See how we go.
Track 93, Unit 10A. 1.
Have you done your homework?
No, I haven't. 2. Has Peter finished his exams? Yes, he's finished all of them, and now he's waiting for his result. 3. Have you ever studied Arabic?
No, I've never studied Arabic.
I'll play it one more time.
Track 93, Unit 10A. 1.
Have you done your homework?
No, I haven't. 2. Has Peter finished his exams?
Yes, he's finished all of them, and now he's waiting for his result.
3. Have you ever studied Arabic?
No, I've never studied Arabic.
So in the first one, it says it's a question. So have you, because I can see it's you, so it must be have you done your homework? And the answer? No, I haven't. Yep. So number 10. Number 9. Number 9. Yep. So we have the second one. And make sure it's capital H because it's the start of a sentence. It's another start of a sentence and it looks like another question. So has, yes. Has Peter, because it's he. Has he finished his exams? Yes, he's finished all of them. And now he's waiting for his results. So you can see the action started in the past. He has finished all of them. And now he's waiting for his results. So it's not a complete action because, or it just finished. So it's an action which started in the past and it just finished now. Number 3, have you ever studied Arabic? Because it's asking about someone's experience. Have you ever done this in your whole life? No, I've never, because we know we need to put never for there. Okay, number 10, we're going to do it together. Asking each other questions, have you ever? You don't need to use the one in the box. You can use your own question. So invented something, that means made something, written a book, met a famous person, been on TV, failed a test, worked in another country. These were the examples that I read before. So now you're going to make questions. So what we do is we start with one person and then you pick someone in the room and ask it to them. So for example, I'll start. I'm going to pick Alexandria. So Alexandria, I'm going to make up my own. I don't want to use the ones in here. Have you seen the film Barbie?
No.
I thought you did last week.
No.
I thought you said to me you did.
No, I told you today in the
Release.
premiere.
The premiere. Ah.
But I don't.
Okay, so no, I haven't.
No, I
Haven't. Good. So I asked Alexandria, but I would like to.
Yeah.
Good, but I would like to. Yeah, but I want to. So I asked Alexandria, have you seen, I didn't do the ever. Sorry, I should have maybe because we're practicing the ever. But it doesn't matter. You can practice whichever one. So I said to Alexandria, have you seen the film Barbie? And she said, no, I haven't. Now, Alexandria, pick someone in the class and ask them a question. If you want, it could be, have you ever main action or just have you main action, like what I did to you. Okay, go ahead.
try the internet.
Nice. Have you ever tried, we don't say the, have you ever tried empanadas, plural, many, because not just one. Yes, I have. Yeah. You mean Mariana? Good. So the question Alexandria asked, have you ever tried? Yes, tried. Have you ever tried empanadas? And then Jimin said, yes, I have. And then she gave more information. Yes, I remember the cheese one. Wow, that was a long time ago. I remember now. Yes, I did too. And yes, I have also. So if I want to add, I can say, yeah, I have also. So you got to be using the same tense, have. If the question was, did you try empanadas? Then Jimin can say, yes, I did. And then I can respond, yeah, I did too. So you got to be careful. Respond in the same time, the grammar tense, the grammar verb, that is the question. If Alexandria said, would you like to try an empanada? Then the answer would be, yes, I would. Yes, I would. No, I wouldn't want to. So we need to make sure, have you? Yes, I have. Have you? No, I haven't. So have, if you hear have in the question, respond with have. If you hear did in the question, did you go to work today? Yes, I did. If you hear do, put do in your answer. If you hear would, put would. If you hear could you draw me a picture? Yes, I could. If you hear can, respond with can. Can you give me your pen? Yes, I can. So make sure the same grammar that is in the question, we respond with the same grammar. Okay, Jimin, ask someone a question in class. Good question. Have you maybe ever, because this one's about an experience, have you ever been to Korea? To South Korea? Yes. Good. Yes, I have. Perfect. Yes, I have. Twice, in fact. We can add the word in fact because it means like it's showing not only once, in fact, twice. So good. Yes, I have. Okay, Ojulan, ask someone a question. Gone to where? Oh, yes, in Brazil. So have you ever been? Is that what you said? Have you ever to the been is bit more better. Yeah. Have you ever been to the I'll just put M Stadium. Yep. Good. And the answer? Yes, I have. Not just yes. We cannot respond with just yes or no. I mean, you can, but it's more common in English to full answer. Yes, I have. It's very common. If you just say yes, I mean, it's correct, but it's not natural. We really do say, yes, I have. Yeah, I have been there. Yeah, I have. You see, like we even repeat it. Yeah, I have been there. Yeah, I've been there twice. Yeah, I've been there with my wife. You see, like we really do add in the verb in our answers. It's very natural. Okay, Ojulan, ask someone a question. Back to sorry, Conrado, back to Ojulan. Yeah. Visited. Good. No, he did. Did he say, have you ever? Yeah, no, I've never. So no, I've never, not ever. So ever is here in the question, but never. No, I've never. Good. Ask someone a question.
Have you ever been to the No, I haven't ever.
No, you don't. No, no, I've never. You don't put haven't.
Haven't.
Yeah, either you could say no, I haven't, or no, I've never. It's more common if you hear ever, then don't say, because what you did, you said no, I haven't, never. No, 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 we don't want to do this. So we don't want to say this one. We don't want to say no, I've haven't ever. No. So it's just no, I've never. No, 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 I've never. Yes. So don't put haven't. Haven't is only for the questions that don't have ever. Like, have you played tennis? No, I haven't. Have you whatever? Yeah. No, I've never. No, 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 I've never.
There's a difference
Yes.
have you ever ever exactly experience just for the experience?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. And have you for
Have you, it's just for like, have you finished your homework? It's not really an experience. Have you spoken to Mariana? You know, it's not really an experience. It's just, have you done this action? But the other one is about activities. Have you ever traveled to Europe? Have you ever, you know, done something crazy? Have you ever learned another? It's about an experience, an activity. Think of it as an activity. But the other one is just, you know, it's the same as, have you spoken to Mariana? Have you given me your paper? You know, have you spoken to someone? Have you whatever? Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the next page. We have now, how good is your memory? How good is your memory? Nelson Dellis, this man, has won the US Memory Championship for the 4th time. So he's won it 4 times. The Memory Championship. So he must have a very good memory. He can remember things. So let's do this. We're going to work in groups of 3. And we're going to put a list from which one is easy to which one is hard to remember. And then we're going to do part 2 in a group. Actually, the whole page. So let's do all of number 120 in groups. Sorry, in your team. So I'll put you into teams and we'll come back and check the answers. Okay, so let's get back into the class. We're into the lesson. So we're looking at the photo and the headline. So remember, the headline just means like the title, the headline. So we looked at the photo and we need to know, who is the man in the photo? Well, if we looked at the image, but we look here, we can see his name is Nelson Dellis. So who is the man? Nelson Dellis. What has he won? What has this man won? He has won. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. Welcome. So he has won the US Memory Championship. Yeah. So we know who he is. His name is Nelson Dellis, and he has won the US Championship, Memory Championship. Has he ever won it before? Yes, because he won it 4 times. So we use the present perfect here because it's still a continuing action. He might win next year and the year after. It's not a complete action. He's still continuing this action to win. So he has won the US Memory Championship and he might win it again. That's why we use the present perfect. So let's listen to a news report about him. And which ones do we hear first? So you've got A, B, and C. So do we hear about the memory championship first? Do we hear what Nelson can remember, or the memory techniques? So you got to put 1, 2, 3. Which one is the first information that you hear? Okay, so ready to play it? So I'm on page 121.
Track 94, Unit 10B. Do you always forget names and faces? And how many numbers, such as telephone numbers, can you remember? Not many? Well, meet Nelson Dennis. Nelson can listen to the names of 99 people, look at their faces, and memorize every one of them. He can also hear 300 different numbers and then repeat them. Because of his special memory, Nelson has won the USA Memory Championship 4 times. He won the competition in 2011, 2012, 2014, and again in 2015. The USA Memory Championships are like the Olympic Games, but the athletes train their brains and they take different memory tests. So how does Nelson do it? He says he doesn't have a special memory. Like normal people, he's often forgotten names, dates, and numbers. But a few years ago, he studied memory techniques and he practiced for hours and hours and hours every day. Since then, he's won many competitions and he's taught his techniques to people all over the USA.
Interesting. Let's hear it again. So we've got number 6 and 7. So it's a reporter talking about this man, Nelson Dallas. And we're going to now try and answer it with number 7. How many new names and faces can he memorize? How many different numbers can he hear and repeat? Which years did he win? So remember, it was 4 years, so you must put what they were. Which sporting event is the US Memory Championship similar to? So which other event is it similar to? What did he study a few years ago? How much did he practice? Every day, every whatever, week? What does he, to who does he teach his technique to? Okay, so let's listen and answer the questions.
Track 94, Unit 10B. Do you always forget names and faces? And how many numbers, such as telephone numbers, can you remember? Not many? Well, meet Nelson Dennis. Nelson can listen to the names of 99 people, look at their faces, and memorize every one of them. He can also hear 300 different numbers and then repeat them. Because of his special memory, Nelson has won the USA Memory Championship 4 times. He won the competition in 2011, 2012, 2014, and again in 2015. The USA Memory Championships are like the Olympic Games, but the athletes train their brains and they take different memory tests. So how does Nelson do it? He says he doesn't have a special memory. Like normal people, he's often forgotten names, dates, and numbers. But a few years ago, he studied memory techniques and he practiced for hours and hours and hours every day. Since then, he's won many competitions and he's taught his techniques to people all over the USA.
I'll play it one more time.
Track 94, Unit 10B. Do you always forget names and faces? And how many numbers, such as telephone numbers, can you remember? Not many? Well, meet Nelson Dennis. Nelson can listen to the names of 99 people, look at their faces, and memorize every one of them. He can also hear 300 different numbers and then repeat them. Because of his special memory, Nelson has won the USA Memory Championship 4 times. He won the competition in 2011, 2012, 2014, and again in 2015. The USA Memory Championships are like the Olympic Games, but the athletes train their brains and they take different memory tests. So how does Nelson do it? He says he doesn't have a special memory. Like normal people, he's often forgotten names, dates, and numbers. But a few years ago, he studied memory techniques and he practiced for hours and hours and hours every day. Since then, he's won many competitions and he's taught his techniques to people all over the USA.
Do you want to listen one more time or? Yeah? Okay, last time.
Track 94, Unit 10B. Do you always forget names and faces? And how many numbers, such as telephone numbers, can you remember? Not many? Well, meet Nelson Dennis. Nelson can listen to the names of 99 people, look at their faces, and memorize every one of them. He can also hear 300 different numbers and then repeat them. Because of his special memory, Nelson has won the USA Memory Championship 4 times. He won the competition in 2011, 2012, 2014, and again in 2015. The USA Memory Championships are like the Olympic Games, but the athletes train their brains and they take different memory tests. So how does Nelson do it? He says he doesn't have a special memory. Like normal people, he's often forgotten names, dates, and numbers. But a few years ago, he studied memory techniques and he practiced for hours and hours and hours every day. Since then, he's won many competitions and he's taught his techniques to people all over the USA.
Okay, let's have a look at what did we understand. So we know who the man is, we know what he won, and yes, he has won many times. So which one did we hear first? B, what he can remember. Yeah, so we know it was numbers and faces of people. So numbers, faces of people. Just B. Sorry, we just need to put B. What did we hear after? Yeah, the US Memory Championship. Yep, we heard what years he won. And then they told us his technique. His technique means how does he do it? How does he know how to remember? What's his technique? So if you play really good soccer, I could say, what's your technique? You could say, well, I train every day. I eat very well. I watch Messi. Sorry, I'm going to say Messi because I'm a big Messi fan. So that's your technique. How do you do something? Technique means how do you do something? So that's what we have, BAC, 1, 2, 3. So number 1, we heard what he can remember. Then we heard which years he won, so put a 2 here. And then the third one, how does he know? How does he do it? So how many new names and faces can he memorize?
Maybe people every day.
Yeah, yeah. 99. How many different numbers can he hear and repeat? 300. Yep, 300. Which years did he win? 14 and 2015, yes. Which sporting event in the US Memory Championship is this similar to? The Olympics. The Olympics. And what did he study a few years ago? Memory technique. So he learned how to do this. And how much did he practice? Hours and hours. Yeah, hours and hours every day. And who does he teach this to? Over the USA. Yeah. So people all over the USA. Good. Okay, let's go back to the grammar and understand this present perfect and how is it different to the past simple. So let's look. We have the present perfect, an action that started in the past. Maybe it just finished now or it's still continuing. This one is it just finished now or it's still continuing? The past simple is finished action. It's like yesterday I watched a movie. I'm not still watching it now. That's it. I finished. Yesterday I saw Mariana. I'm not seeing her now. I saw her yesterday. That's the past simple. It's a finished, complete action. I'm not doing it anymore. But the present perfect, maybe it just finished or it's still continuing. Like, I have lived in Australia all my life. I'm still living here. I speak English. I have spoken English since I was a kid. I still speak English. It's not a finished action. I have learned how to play the piano. I still play the piano. I'm just making that up. Whatever. You're telling someone information of an action that you started in the past, but you're not finished. It's still continuing. Yeah. So for example, Nelson has won. Present perfect, not Nelson won, because he didn't just win it and that's it. He has won it 4 times and he might still win more. Now we switched to the simple. He won the competition in 2011, 12, 14, and 15. Why did we use the simple here? Because that is a finished action. In 2011, it's finished. In 2012, that year is finished. So he won it those years and he has won 4 times. So even in the same information that I'm telling someone about the same topic, I can start with the present perfect and have a sentence in the past simple. It's possible. So we can use the present perfect and the past simple to talk about which one? The past. Yeah, they're both past actions. Don't be confused because it's got the word present in here. It's still an action which happened in the past. So we need to circle the past. We use the which one when we know or say the exact time. Which one has the exact time? Yesterday, I went to the movies. Simple. Yesterday, I spoke to Juliana. Simple, because I said yesterday. 2 weeks ago, I read a book. Simple. So which one has the time? The past simple. The one where we just put the ed. Remember, subject, verb. There's no have or has. I studied. I played basketball yesterday. I saw my friend. I read a book yesterday. I spoke to whatever. So the answer, past simple. We use which one when we don't say or know the exact time? Present perfect. Present perfect. Remember, I have learnt a new language. When did I learn a new language? Do you know? If I said to you, I have learnt a new language, do you know when I started that new language? No. I just told you that I started it in the past and I'm still doing it. Then you can ask me, oh, awesome. When did you learn a new language? And then I could say, well, I started 2 days ago. So the present perfect, it doesn't tell me when I started the action. It just tells me that the action is continuing. Okay, let's complete number 9. So you have to pick. Maybe it's the present perfect or maybe it's the past simple. So it's very important you know the difference between the two and how to create the sentence. Not just the difference, but which one am I going to use? And am I going to just put an ed to the action or am I going to put have or has and then the ed to the action? So number 1, Alexandria, we'll start with you. My friend, there's no time.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Doesn't tell you when.
Made the exam.
Yeah, he has failed. You gotta use that verb. I just noticed it's at the end. Yeah, I was looking for the verb. It's at the end. He has failed his mathematics exam twice. Do you know when? No, we just know that he has failed it. Now it tells us the time. Last year, that's time. So simple, past simple. He failed, subject, verb with an ed. Simple, past simple. He failed it last year and this year. So can you see how we went from the present perfect and then the past simple? Let's do the next sentence. Sally has studied. Yeah. We don't know when, we just know before. It doesn't say exactly when. Be careful. Then that is a next sentence. But you got to look at each sentence separately. So Sally has studied English before. We don't know when. We don't know which year, when. But the next sentence is going to tell us. When she was a child, that's time, she studied. Because that sentence, you got to look at when the full stop to one full stop to another full stop. So that becomes, again, we started with the present perfect, and then we went to the present simple. When she was a child, we know exactly. If it said yesterday, last night, when she was 10 years old, that is time. Number 3, Google something different driverless has made. Yep, so present perfect, has made. So Google has made different driverless cars. See you tomorrow. And in 2006, now we have the exact time. It made. Simple. Past simple. It made a car which traveled 200,000 kilometers with no driver. So remember, make is an irregular in the past, made. So number 4, it says exactly when, 8 this morning. So I called. Yeah, simple, past simple. I need to just put the ed. No have or has, because I know exactly when. I, subject, called you again at 8 in the morning, comma. But there was no answer. New sentence. So in total, I have called you 5 times. There's no time in that next sentence. I have called you 5 times, but it doesn't tell me when. At 6 o'clock, then at 7 o'clock, and then didn't say time. Number 5, Yep. So remember, in Australian English, we say on the weekend. British English say at, but in Australia, we say on the weekend. So it's up to you. I would be careful and always say on the weekend, because yes, British at the weekends. This book is from the UK. So we say on, never say at. You'll just sound funny. Like no one says it. You'll sound like someone say, "Oh, are you from England?" Yeah, and then you're like, "No, I just am learning from an English book," right? So we saw a film on the weekend. We know exactly when. On the weekend. So past simple, subject, verb. It's irregular. We have to remember it's saw, not seed. I have seen, yes, it a few times before. We don't know when. We just said before, but it was still funny. So the second sentence is the present perfect. And remember, some verbs change in the simple, past simple, and in the present perfect. So saw, seen, same action, but you just got to remember one of them is the past simple. Yesterday, I saw Mario. Last week, I saw my friend. I saw a dog in your garden yesterday, whatever. So I say the time and I use this one. I have seen that movie. Do you know when? No, I just said I saw it. I've seen it. Yeah. Okay, we have some time. Let's finish number 10. And then we can finish there for the day. So remember, we said, have you ever verbed in another country, or whatever the question is? So if we say ever, then we need to reply only in the negative with never. So no, only in the negative. No, I've never. There's no have or haven't. Only when there's ever. So for example, the first one, have you ever taken an English exam? No, I've never. Or yes, I have. When? How can we make a question with when? When? How can I make a question in the present perfect? After the W's, put the verb. What's the verb? Subject. Yeah. When have you? Now remember, taken. When have you taken? We can use the same verb. When have you taken it? Because you take an exam. You don't study an exam. You take an exam. You study for an exam, but you take an exam. So when have you taken it? Now you need to say the simple, because you're going to give the exact time. I took it 2 years ago. Or I took it on Friday, right? I took it on Friday. So do you see how my answer is the simple? Yeah, exactly. I took it last Friday. Yeah, I took it last Friday. So simple in my answer. Because I gave the exact time. Last Friday, last night, last year, when I was young, yesterday, whatever. Number 2, have you science? Yep. Have you ever studied science before? The answer? It's up to you. No, I've never. Yes, I have. No, I've never. I've never. Yeah, so be careful because it's very you have to be clear on your pronunciation. No, remember after the yes or no, we always put a comma in your writing. But in our speaking, have a little break. No, I've never. Do you see how there's a bit of a pause?
Yep.
I've never. Yeah, I've never. Or yes, I have. Yeah. So you need to push the subject, it sounds like. I've or I. Yeah. And where I think that's meant to be in the past simple. Sorry. So we're going to use our did. So have you when did you take it? Sorry, when did you take it? Sorry, I just saw that it says it wants us to make the second question into the past simple. So have you ever studied science before? And then where did you study it? Okay, and then we have where did you study it? So how would you respond? I studied it at university. I studied it at, you could say the name of the place, at the University of Brazil, whatever. So this we can see that we finished and completed the action. So it's the past simple. I studied at a university. Am I still doing it now? Studying science? No. The third one, have, it's irregular. Teach is irregular in the past. Have you ever taught a subject? Have you ever taught a subject? The answer, yes, I have. No, I've never. And how do we make a question? What did you teach? Past simple. What did you teach? Yeah, you could say what have you taught? That's only if the person is still teaching it. But I think, and then ask another question in the past simple. So they want us to practice the past simple question, but you could make it in the present perfect. What have you taught? It would just be what have you taught? So I taught history, music, and English. It's an irregular. I taught, past simple. Number 4, have you ever? Yes. And the answer, yes, I have. Or no, no, I've never. Yeah, no, I've never. You stop at never. No, I've never. Only because we heard ever in the question. If it said, have you taught a subject? No, I haven't. But only if it said ever, then no, I've never. You stop at never. Thank you. Yes. And don't forget, see you tomorrow. Don't forget to give your test if you finished. How do we ask the question? What
What do you learn?
Yeah, thank you. What did you learn? And then you can say, I learnt the guitar,
Yeah.
the piano. Okay, so we can continue with that next lesson. And we're also looking at, because you remember this has been about learning this unit. So tomorrow, the next lesson, we're going to be looking at habits. Habits mean things that you do all the time. So yeah, so what do you have to think of in your mind? The difference between the present perfect and the past simple. Okay, so you can look up, you can see my notes again on here. One is the action started in the past and is still continuing. Present perfect. Past simple, the action is far in the past and it's completed, it's finished. It's not happening anymore. And they have different structure. How do we make a sentence here? And how do we make a sentence here? Very different. Perfect, subject has or have verb, and the simple subject verb. So that's the difference. Okay, so we'll continue with this next time. Yes, until then.